people who are pregnant, and even young children. Right now, vaccines are available for anyone over 6 months of age, while boosters are available for anyone over the age of 5. This message brought to you by the Native American Community Clinic. Find a vaccination site by calling 651-304-9986 or visit vaccineconnector.mn.gov.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
I heard sex trafficking happens a lot in Indian country. What is that?
Here are some of the real reasons why sex trafficking happens in Indian country. Unequal gender roles that were forced on us by colonization. Communities don't have enough resources. Silence around domestic and sexual violence. Lack of attention and justice for missing and murdered Indigenous people. There's a lot of behavior that keeps our communities out of balance. These are just a few true reasons why Native communities are targeted by traffickers. When these acts of violence happen in our communities, it opens us all up for exploitation.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lulia. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 65, then sunny Wednesday with a high of 86. Whether you're dining in or dining out, Eat Local Minnesota restaurants and food purveyors will make your next meal one to remember. Check out selections like Hazel's Northeast and Cafe Latte. Visit the full list of Eat Local Minnesota restaurants and food purveyors at eatlocalminnesota.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous. Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm your host. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Native Roots Radio presents Rock the Vote Native Style every Tuesday here on Native Roots Radio. And Ogama, my voice is like sounding like really like a rock star here, seeing that I don't have one, and I've been at the fair for 13 hours a day for the last 12 days. Oh,
You know, that would be something that you would expect, right?
well, I'm just listening to it in these headphones, and I go, "Who is this guy with the sexy voice here?" And wow, it's me. So wow. Hey, we got our co-host here, Nancy Beaulieu of MN350 and Bemidji 350, and we've been rocking the vote native style for a couple of cycles here, and really excited to have a few guests on here. But I want to just a little chit chat, Nancy. We had a store at the fair, and I just want to say Pinigigi to all the people that came by. It was really good medicine for us, especially the people that bought stuff, but also the people that bought stuff and listened to this great show that we've had on over 6.5 years. And I say great in a humble way, what was that term? He was a young elder on reservation dogs when he presented himself to those kids. I don't know. Okay, you guys aren't laughing, so you haven't seen that episode.
Oops, I'm making noise over here.
That's right. Hey, Nancy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, you sound great.
All right, good. Still out here doing the good work that we do collectively here in northern Minnesota. So just want to say we have a couple great guests today. But first and foremost, I have a couple shout outs, and I want to give a big shout out to George Spears and his brother Gary for leading the Red Lake Back event in Waskish, Minnesota, just this last Saturday. So we held space, a small camp in a place that's designated for no camping or no fires. But we had a DNR go up and in a good way try to ask us to leave because there's no camping. But, George did a good job at explaining why, treaties matter and that we had a right to be there within 100 feet of the waterway. So the DNR honored the treaty and left us there in peace, and actually came back the next morning to follow up to see how we were doing, and he wanted to learn more about the treaty. So it was exciting to be out there and hold space with them in a supportive role. And again, they're building awareness to getting the upper Red Lake back. And so the Spirit Run was for 32 miles, and we asked our listeners to follow us at MN350 in the next couple of weeks for the story that we're creating from some of the videos and some of the stuff that we need to share moving forward into the 4th annual Spirit Run for the lake back in Red Lake, and that'll be the early part of September. So I know some of you guys are marking your calendars for next year already. The first week, September 1st.
Nancy, I want one of those t-shirts.
And then I also want to say again.
I want one of those T-shirts. I saw instead of land back, they say in lake back, and I dig it.
Well, Robert, if you show up, we'll have maybe 2 for you, a back. So yeah, one for Ogama as well. But yeah, again, I was there's a supportive role, and I'm excited to continue to support the lake back up in Red Lake. So again, watch for that story coming out soon at Minnesota 350 on Facebook. And then I also want to extend an invite to all those people in the metro area that this Saturday, September 10th, at the Minnesota 350 office at 4407 East Lake Street, there will be a taco sale to help fundraise for the Red Robes Resistance Ranch. And that's the camp formerly known as the Red Lake Treaty Camp on the Line 3 this last summer, June of 2021. So they have transitioned into a healing space that we all need, and this work is challenging. But anyway, so we're going to have soap for sale again, Robert, and we're going to have a silent auction with one of my beautiful dream catchers. And we want to sell all the tacos in the world all day long. So again, come support a wonderful cause and have a great conversation and find out ways you can support the Red Ropes Resistance Ranch. And tonight, we have 2 wonderful guests. We have Alan Roy of White Earth, who's running for District 2. And then we have Jamie Becker-Finn, and she's an incumbent in Minnesota 42B. I hope I got that right. And she's also a Leech Lake descendant. So we got some great guests on tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And one of the things I want to mention too, Nancy, is that we're all over Turtle Island now, and we're on the civic media. So maybe you can explain a little better where that is for our people in Illinois and Michigan and Wisconsin, where this camp is.
It's in the Red Lake Nation in northern Minnesota. And again, it was formerly known as the Red Lake Treaty Camp on the Line 3 resistance last summer. And it is being led by Sasha Beaulieu and Roy, but I can't remember Roy's last name, but they have horses there. And the goal is building a community that we can find healing, find our culture, sovereignty. So we want to build a community by the community. And this is a good way to get it started, is by supporting Sasha and all the good work that needs to be done out there. Every time I go visit, I'm so inspired by her energy. And I think collectively we all need healing spaces, and we all just need a place where we can say, hey, let's just sit down and get to know each other more. This is what that place is all about.
Yeah, definitely. So we got Alan Roy up next too, and he's District 2 and also State Representative, Jamie Becker-Finn. She was at the store at the State Fair and got to see her, and I was doing the show live at the fair, and I said, "Hey, want to come on and come back?" She said, "No, I'm going to be on with Nancy next Tuesday." I went, "Oh, that's right." So we saved her for a good spot here. I'm all rested, not really. I'm still tired from working from 7 in the morning till 10 at night every night for 12 days, but it was worth it. Nancy, all these questions about things out there. And one of the things, I know you're an artist and also your soap was in our store. There's so much appropriation out there. It's like mind blowing. It's mind blowing. Yes.
Today, and I think it's our art is our culture and our stories, and it's important that we respect Native American art and the people like myself creating the art, because sometimes you might not hear the story when you buy these products, but just know there's a story, or there's a whole lot of love put in our work, and it's meant for good things, and getting our stories and our messaging out there. So support us, but also at the same time, just know what you're buying when you're buying it, and making sure you're buying it from the right people.
Right. And I was on another radio station interviewed, and I got to say, and we say it here all the time too, it's like, if you go up to a booth and you go, "Who's the artist?" And if they can't tell you, that means it's someone in China, or in a sweatshop, or it's stolen. And they had a lot of stuff at the fair that was called Native inspired, and I was saying that's Native stolen. There's a big difference. So that's good words, Nancy, that we have to support. But those are the questions you ask these vendors, right?
Right. And I think all due respect of the artists, maybe the vendors could make a little card of the picture of the artist and little bio, to just share where the art's coming from, because sometimes people do want to hear those stories behind the art, and this is a good way to reach out to that artist and hear that story. And it's also another way to respect the art by calling and asking what's okay and what's not okay, and most artists will know this.
Hey, up next, State Representative Jamie Becker-Finn. You're listening to Native Roots Radio, Rock the Vote Native Style, here on the Civic Media Network. We'll be right back. Hey, Wendy, what are we doing for dinner after the show?
How about we go to J. Selby's on 169 Victoria Street in St. Paul? They have a delicious plant-based menu, compassionate and environmentally sustainable.
I'm getting their spot-on vegan Big Mac, the dirty secret.
You can pick up and they deliver within a 5-mile radius, or you can call them at 651-222-3263 or visit jselbys.com.
Well, you sold me one. Let's go order at J. Selby's tonight.
I'm hungry.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus over 30 extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Hey, Olgama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
When we heal from our traumas,
when we face our fears,
let go of our addictions,
when we relearn our values,
when we live our teachings,
respecting our elders,
cherishing and honoring our children,
when we honor and take care of our spirit,
there will be no room left for sexual violence.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. You know, this portion's brought to you by MN350, grassroots organization fighting for climate justice. And I just want to give on our bumper, we have Jane Fonda saying you're listening to Native Roots Radio. And I just want to give her a shout out because she's dealing with some health issues right now that I just heard about, and she's fighting back. So Jane, right on, keep on fighting, and Pinigi for all you do and been doing for so long. Hey, we're here with Nancy Beaulieu and Ogama. And Ogama, do you have anything to say? Because I saw you at a rockin' concert this weekend here, right by the lake. And I when I saw you, I had my shorts on and I had a jacket on, and I was freezing.
Yeah, we were down at Gitchigumi or Lake Superior, or up, I should say. It was north, up in Duluth, Minnesota, on the shores of Gitchigumi for the Waters Life Festival, and it was wonderful. We got to talk with some of the stars. We got to meet Bear from Reservation Dogs. We got to talk with Minneapolis-based artists. Well, I guess she's partially Minneapolis, partially New York, but Dessa, who's a rapper and a feminist, and we got to visit. I saw you got to meet Uncle Brownie, Gary Farmer, who is iconic in the Indian community. So excited that you got to speak with him and take some selfies.
I am the selfie king, right?
This is true. And honestly, the artists that came for the event were amazing. Thomas X from my tribe up in Red Lake Nation He repped Red Lake Nation well and was a wonderful MC. Winona came on and spoke several times. Our good friend Gina Peltier, who covered for me while I was on maternity leave, was on stage several times reminding people to stand up for the water. So many water protectors and so many people came together to make that show happen, and it was beautiful. So if you did not get a chance to go, mark it on your calendar for next fall, for next year.
I saw Bob Blake from Red Lake, and also the big group was the Indigo Girls, and I had to get back to the fair, so I couldn't stay long. But Nancy, you have a connection with that rapper from Red Lake, don't you? Ho.
Actually, yes, he's my son-in-law, Barrett, and he's actually a well-rounded community member. He's the director of the Red Lake Boys and Girls Club, and him and my daughter just received a huge grant to start a homeless shelter for the homeless youth in Red Lake, more of the teen population. I'm excited for the work they do. The community they serve is really needing great people like them. So I encourage people to be inspired by these kind of people and show up and do some good stuff. And it's going to make you feel good inside and outside.
Yeah. So we're waiting for Jamie Becker-Finn to come in, but I just want to say a couple things, Nancy. And you can always get her on the show. She doesn't return my calls, so you're the key to all this. But I'm just kidding. She's an adjunct professor at Hamlin Mitchell here in St. Paul. She also has a new coffee shop, and she's been a state rep in District 42B since 2017. And one of the things that's interesting for me is that, man, the Republicans go after her, and she stands up in a good way. And it's crazy, and it's almost sometimes I feel like Nancy driving down there and protecting her, but she doesn't need protection.
No, she's a rock star, and she's Ogeechee Dagwe. And, you know, I really highly look up to Jamie, and I think that's why she likes to reach out to me, because she knows, you know, I believe in her work. And this is why we have her here tonight, Robert, so we can share with our officers across and ask them this woman is and all the good things she's done for our people. And yeah, she knows how to stand up, and that's what makes her a strong woman. And that's why I appreciate her showing up and community. And again, she's a descendant of Leech Lake, and she's all about the environment and higher education and, you know, building a future together. And what excites me the most is that she believes that regular people can do the work together to achieve positive changes in our communities. And Robert, that's exactly what we're working on right now here, even in northern Minnesota. In our next series, when I'm on, it's local elections because it matters in our backyards. And we feel those changes and we live those changes, and we want to inspire ourselves that we can be a part of those changes. And, you know, Jamie is just another fine example of a committee member stepping it up to be a voice for our forgotten voices. This is why I appreciate what she does. So welcome to the show.
Yeah, no doubt. I just I can't wait to see her. And again, I'm just kind of making fun. She was at the store, and her children, her small children, and you know, she's doing the children thing, and she's doing the business thing, and she's a wife. Um, that's just a lot of stuff going on there, isn't it?
Right. And when I look and take a see, what her platform is, it's just all the things that she stands for, some of these issues, even taking care of our neighbors. You don't see a lot of our politicians that really care just about our neighbors, that they might care about, local policy or state policy. But when you get down to taking care of your neighbor, that says a lot about Jamie and some of the work she wants to do moving forward. And she also, again, she wants to protect our natural resources, and some of her she's endorsed by Sierra Club, the North Chapter, Conservation Minnesota Voter Center, and the Clean Water Action. So she's come a long way. I think she's kind of young, and that's what really inspires me about her. I couldn't imagine when she's my age and what she's going to have accomplished when she's in the 50s, but yeah, so she is who she says she is. And I think she's worth every vote that she's going to get, and that we're going to help her get, Robert.
Hey, before we get Jamie on, Nancy, I want to get Ogama in here, and there's some happenings, and some of our listeners, our great listeners, have popped up some stuff. And Ogama, do you mind giving that update, that news update that's happening?
Sure. So, the Cree Nation in Saskatchewan, Canada, according to CBC News, has had a mass killing on the reservation. They believe that it was a mass stabbing that's left 10 people dead and 18 people injured in the area of James Smith Cree Nation and the nearby village of Weldon, Saskatchewan. The tallies for those numbers don't include the suspects. Currently, they believe that there is a suspect named Miles Sanderson, who also may have murdered his brother Damian Sanderson. And that is two of the suspects that they are looking for. One of the suspects they are looking for, I should say. The other suspect is since deceased. They did find him Monday with wounds that were not self-inflicted. And then Kirby Constant is a police are kind of just investigating this, and they believe the suspect might have fled or been in Regina. They believe the suspect is driving a black Nissan Rogue with the license plate 119 MPI, and it was spotted in Regina, Saskatchewan. So currently, as of this article was posted at 9:09 a.m. today by CBC News Canada, the suspect is still at large. So our prayers are up for the Cree Nation in Smith Cree Nation and their loved ones that they have lost, and prayers for those who have been injured to make a recovery, because 10 and 18, that's 28 people, not including the suspects, and that's incredibly high numbers for a small community like that. So prayers are up for that, and it looks like Jamie Becker-Finn is here. Welcome. We're so excited. So
I want to thank you for that update, and I want to also give a quick shout out to all the survivors out there and people. Jamie, thank you for coming on here. We know you're a busy person. We were just talking about all the great things you do, and you're on Native Roots Radio, Rock the Vote, Native Style, and your good friend Nancy Beaulieu will take over right now.
Well, bonjour, Jamie. It's always a pleasure to have you in this space. And yeah, we were just bragging a little bit about how strong you are and how you bring our voices and our concerns into those political spaces, and most of our people are not comfortable in those kind of spaces. And I just had this conversation today, but it's people like yourself and, and other relatives that run for these offices and really give, voice to our issues by stepping it up and having that courage to figure out how the political system works. And again, we really appreciate that, because we know if we're not at the table, we are what's being served. And I've seen you in action on the floor, and you're a powerhouse, and you're well-rounded. You not only, teach law, you own your own coffee shop. You're just an inspiration. And it's, again, a reason why we create spaces like this to bring awesome candidates in like yourself. So welcome to the show tonight, Jamie.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm out door knocking, so that's why I was a little late getting on. I was in a conversation with a voter. So really, really thank you for the kind words, Nancy, and good to see you, Robert and Angie, and the whole team. So yeah, happy to be with you guys tonight.
I want to just say, Peony Gigi, for stopping by the Trading Post. It really means a lot. You and your sister, the Lieutenant Governor, stopped by, and it's just great to see how you support small business and support other Native businesses. So I just want to throw a Peony Gigi out for that too. Ho!
Yeah, for sure. No, my kids really like their new shirts. My oldest he almost entirely wears Leech Lake Days shirts to school. So, but now he's got a new one to add to the collection. So appreciate you, Robert.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Nance. Take it over. Oh, well, you know what? I know we have to take a short break here. Can you hold on with us, State Representative? Right on. Here we go. So we'll be right back. We're here with Jamie Becker-Finn, State Representative of Minnesota House.
COVID levels may be falling, but the virus is still around. Stay healthy and up to date on your COVID vaccinations and boosters. Right now, everyone 6 months and older is eligible to get a vaccination, while everyone 5 and up is eligible for their booster shot. Plus, you're eligible for a second booster if you're over 50 or received an initial booster dose at least 4 months ago. Find a vaccination site by calling 651-304-9986 or visit vaccineconnector.mn.gov. This message brought to you by the Native American Community Clinic.
Hey, Tom Harvin here, and you can catch me live every weekday from 11 to 2 following the Stephanie Miller Show right here on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota.
We use technology every day to help manage our lives. Why not use it to help manage your medications? St. Paul Corner Drug offers several free tools to keep you on track while taking your medications. Use our mobile app to quickly order a refill, or the Meds on Q application, which turns your smartphone or tablet into your very own personal medication attendant. Email and text messaging options let you know when your medication is ready for pickup, making efficient use of your time. St. Paul Corner Drug, pharmacy the way it should be.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
Hi, I'm Claire Ferreira, president and owner of Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. Ever since my grandfather founded Standard over 90 years ago, word-of-mouth advertising and referrals from our customers have always been important. That's why, after serving over 500,000 customers, we're proud to have a 4.9-star average rating out of 5 on our online reviews. Check them out for yourself and find out more at standardheating.com. That's standardheating.com.
As we head into the fall season, Crooner Supper Club invites you to enjoy drinks, a delicious dinner, and live music from both big-name local and national artists in a wide array of styles. And before or after your show, check out the new Maggie's Lounge, a perfect spot to visit with friends. It's open Wednesdays through Sundays from 4:30 to 11 for cocktails and light fare. And you don't even need a ticket to enjoy the great atmosphere of Maggie's. That's a Crooner Supper Club off Moore Lake and Highway 65, a little piece of old-school nightlife in the 21st century.
Hey, Patrick for Zero Res. All summer long, the kids have dragged in dirt, mud, worse, a few bugs, maybe more than a few bugs. And they made the house stink too. The good news is the kids are back in school, which means there's no better time to call Zero Res to clear the summer stench. Zero Res will clean up the leftover beach day fun that didn't stay at the beach, the spills left behind after the sleepovers, and more. And you can score big savings this month. Get 3 rooms pre-treated and cleaned starting at just $139 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Call today at 952-0RES or visit zeroresminnesota.com and ask for the AM 950 special. And when nothing but new will do, nobody knows floors better than Zero Res. If you're thinking about new flooring, check out zfloors.com for Z Floors by Zero Res. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res. With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Partly cloudy tonight with a low of 65, then sunny Wednesday with a high of 86. Whether you're dining in or dining out, Eat Local Minnesota restaurants and food purveyors will make your next meal one to remember. Check out selections like Hazel's Northeast and Cafe Latte. Visit the full list of Eat Local Minnesota restaurants and food purveyors at eatlocalminnesota.com.
Hi, this is Representative Sharice Davids from Kansas. I'm Ho Chunk, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. We are Rock the Vote Native Style here, and I want to hand it over. We're here with Jamie Becker-Finn, and we have Alan Roy up on deck here, ready to come in soon and talk some good talk here. Go ahead, Nancy, take it over.
Yes, welcome back, Jamie. And I just want to speak a little bit to her issues on her platform. And that includes education, good jobs to support working families in Minnesota. Again, protecting our natural resources, taking care of our neighbors. I love that piece. Building safer communities, affordable, accessible healthcare, and higher education to support building a future. And again, Jamie's about working with regular people to achieve positive changes in our state and in our communities. And this is why I think she makes a wonderful candidate for re-election. So Jamie, if you just want to give a couple highlights of your campaign and tell people why it's important to vote for Ogeechee-Kwe like yourself, we would appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think so. I'm Leech Lake. Grew up on the res near Cass Lake, and but represent the suburbs now. I live in Roseville and represent Roseville and Shoreview in the legislature. And I think if we're not here, there's nobody to speak for us. And I know when those things come up, I'm the one texting my tribe. I'm the one making sure and checking directly. A lot of times in the legislature, people think that because, well, I talked to one Native person and they were cool with it, as if that's the same as like a government to government interaction, and that's the same level. And so what I've seen, now that we have Heather Keeler and we have Alicia Kozlowski running, and with Peggy in office, that we understand sovereignty in a way that our non-Native legislators do not. And so I think that's one of the really key things with us being at the table. And, just our worldview is different. So, we see things in a different way, and it's important that we're here to speak to that. So I apologize for the noise. I'm out door knocking, and I had to walk to get away from a guy mowing his yard. But
It's real radio here. Hey, Jamie,
Yeah.
I got a question before I forget. I want to make sure we get this out here. How can we support you? What website can people go to and help campaign, do parades, and all those fun things? I want to get that out there so before I forget, because I'm old and I got a short memory.
Yeah, well, Miigwech for the question. So, right now we're out door knocking a lot. Early voting starts in just a couple weeks. And so that's really, we could really use volunteers. I have an open paid position. If there's, maybe a young person out there that's looking to learn how to canvass and knock on doors, we've got a paid position open for that. And, if you have friends and relatives in Roseville or Shoreview, making sure that they know that they can be supporting our campaign and what we're all about. So, but mostly if you go to Becker-Finn.org, and I know you guys have been posting that link there, that's the best way to click on donate or send me a message if you want to sign up to volunteer. We'd follow me on the socials. We tend to update that a lot quicker than the website. So
Right on. Yeah. And Nancy, I know we should probably get to the meat of this real quick because we got Alan Roy up next. And also, you're knocking on doors, and I know how important that is. That's just amazing. We had, all the candidates that come on, like, Ruth Buffalo is always knocking on the doors, and how I think meeting people like you do, from where they're at, and and speaking to them, I think people want politicians to be knocking on that door so they can speak to them. What are people asking you, and what are they saying?
yeah, and it's incredibly important. I think it's the most important thing that a campaign can do is to have those direct person-to-person relationships. I actually just talked to someone, so I'm in an area of my district that's new because of redistricting, so I don't know these folks yet. I just had a really good conversation with someone where I was, talking about the way that I do my work, and sort of the values that I bring to the work. I think a lot of what I'm hearing is, people are concerned about reproductive freedom. That's probably the top issue. I always lead with like, what's an issue that's important to you? And in my district, it's been access to abortion care and medical care, as well as climate and environment are also super important, I think, to Minnesotans kind of across the board. So, that's certainly something that, as someone who grew up north in the woods, that's something that's really close to my heart, and I'm always happy to engage with folks about. So that's probably the top issues. And then our public schools. I'm sitting in the grass right next to Roseville Area High School right now. So folks in our community really want to make sure all of our kids are seen and supported, and that's really important too.
First day of school for us Twin Cityites, and I really miss it. I don't know if you know this, Jamie, but I'm a former high school teacher.
Did know that.
Before I became a representative for Ho Chunk Nation, which is my full-time job. I don't like to talk about that, but it is my full-time job, and I miss it. I miss the kids, and it's exciting to see all these pictures all over social media, first day pictures. I just really exciting.
Yeah, no, my kids were my youngest. She's she acted like she wasn't going to be excited about it, but she was pretty happy walking to school this morning. So we're very lucky our kids we live close enough to the school. My kids get to walk to school together, which is pretty nice to live in a neighborhood like that.
Wow, yeah. So any last thoughts? Because like we were saying, Nancy and Jamie, it's really important to knock on those doors. So we don't want to keep you too much longer, and the nights are getting shorter.
They are. We're losing daylight. So I've probably got another hour left this evening. But I started early so I could fit in the doors, and just really appreciate what you do, bringing all of our voices to more people. And yeah, like I said, if anyone wants to help out, we can always use more volunteers. And in a safer seat like mine, I'm putting resources into helping other folks. I see Alan's on now. Ani and Alan. Hoping to get up to Bemidji again to knock on some doors before this cycle is over. So miigwech to all of you.
Thank you so much, Jamie, and rock on. We'll get you on again before the big vote. So Peeny Gigi for coming on, and Nancy for setting this up.
Yep, showing off my Band-Aid from I got a blister ricing this weekend. I was back home, so bringing that energy to the doors tonight. So I'll pass it on to Alan. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you, Jamie. Yeah. All right. Wow. Hey, we got time here now for Alan Roy, and Alan Roy's running for District 2. And Alan, I don't know if it's your camera or whatever, but you look nice and tan and fit right now. What are you doing?
I've been outdoor knocking. That's what I've been doing.
Awesome.
I was racing. I was actually racing to get home to get on the interview here because I was way out in the woods there knocking on doors.
Wow. Oh, yeah. And then how's
and I just have to jump in really quick here, and what Jamie was just stating, and Alan bringing up, they're outdoor knocking. Deb Holland won her race and by door knocking, putting her boots on, and people want to see a face to these names when it comes to November 3rd. And I think it's really important that they know that they're our neighbors, our tribal, enrolled people, community is stepping up to do work with their community. And this is a conversation that Alan and I had earlier today. This is why I continue to show up in some of these spaces, because I want our people not just to register to vote, but make informed voting decisions. And I want them to know it's our community members, our band members, our allies running for these positions to bring our voices to the table. And I want people to know when it comes November 3rd that they're voting for community members, not just as some career politician without a face to that name on November 3rd. So thank you, Alan. Thank you for stepping it up.
Thank you, Nancy. I couldn't have said it better than what you just described.
Exactly. Alan, so what are you hearing? I think I was talking to Wendy, my wife, about Alaska and these things that are happening, the first Democratic victory in Alaska. Did the Republicans make a huge mistake with Roe versus Wade? I think they did, because we just saw the numbers for the governor, and the governor's almost 20 points ahead of the Republican in the latest KSTP poll. And KSTP is a little leaning right, so it might even be more.
Really, that poll just came out today. Yeah. Jeez,
Yeah.
I didn't even see that poll. Yeah, I what I'm hearing out there, just I don't look at polls much often, but what I'm hearing on the doorsteps is, folks want to see some new blood. That's what was said to me is, they don't want none of this extremism that's being discussed on the right or the left. I think a lot of folks are pretty fed up with that. They just want people to go back to work. They want the government to make some change, meaningful change, but they're tired. They're tired of seeing the infighting, and they want to see us get back to work. I know the women's rights and abortion are frequently discussed at the doorstep. I'm hearing it from a lot of folks, and I'm hearing it from even the Republican-leaning folks that are questioning what's happening there. And I know even up north, there's been a softening and an avoidance by some of the Republicans to discuss the issue because of a lot of the backlash that's happening to it. And I hope it is a 20-point landslide. Certainly that will help us up here in Senate District 2. And we know that the state Senate is it's going to be a very tight one. It's going to be very close. I'm hoping that Senate District 2 will be one of those seats that will help achieve that DFL majority. And, at the end of the day, I think that we can get to work. We can get a lot of these things that we need done to get passed. I've been running on education, been running on the economy, been running on agriculture and tribal sovereignty. And I think we can do a lot of good work here in greater Minnesota and throughout Minnesota and in the Twin Cities. Mary Kunesh, Senator Kunesh, and I have done several events together here across the state. We held a fundraiser in St. Paul last week, and we were fortunate enough to have Representative Betty McCollum and Minnesota Attorney General also join us there, among other distinguished guests. And part of what's being said is that, our campaign is focused on bridging that rural-urban divide and erasing it, and making sure that we have one voice across Minnesota, and we're helping everyone, and we're not just focused on a select few. And we feel pretty confident that message is carrying. And I think we're going to do pretty good this year. I really do. I think we're going to do pretty good. And thank you for having us on.
Yeah, hey, just before I get back to Nancy to ask the question, I have the poll here, and it's 43%. Wait, no. Go ahead, Nancy. I'm looking at an old poll.
Well, it's kind of a segue to the some of the thought you're going to bring up, Robert. Some of these elections are just a few percentages apart. They're so close. Mm-hmm. And this is why it's important that we continue to not just register for people to vote, but help them make informed voting decisions by sharing candidate platforms and creating spaces just like this. And how do we get these people to the polls? Because a lot of these people don't have transportation. They're not sure where their voting polls are. And because, we've been held back in so many different ways, a lot of our people don't understand this political process and how it works. And it's up to people like myself to help ensure that people are not just registering to vote, but how are they going to know who the candidates are and how do they get to those polls? And I think it's really important. Just that race in Alaska, it was off. So close, I think by 3%. I could be wrong. But when you think about it, that's not too far off. But at the same time, it's like a huge news to say that we're showing up now to make a difference, but they're so close that you have to encourage all your relatives, friends, your neighbors, let's vote, because it does matter. And
exactly. So I got the poll is 51% for Walz and 33% for Jensen. So I was a couple points off, but I think so are they.
Wow, that is a huge spread there. It just goes to show you a lot of folks don't like that extremist message that is being portrayed out there by the other side. And like I said, Minnesotans just want us to get to work, and that's what I'm prepared to do. I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and do the people's work, and we'll see what happens come November.
And I feel,
And Nancy's right when she says that we need folks, we need volunteers, we need drivers. Registration is not enough. We need to get people the same day register and early vote. Early voting opens on September 23rd, all the way up to Election Day. And we got to get these folks to the polls. And if you need a ride, let us know, and we'll arrange somebody to pick you up, and we'll figure it out.
Right. And, what I want to stress most importantly is that we might not agree on all the issues, but we also have to remember that democracy is under attack. When we think about, birth control rights and all those things like that, if we're not showing up to those polls, we're going to lose these races, and it's going to be an extreme right future for us. And it just makes the future look dark. And democracy is for everybody, regardless of what political party you belong to, what church you go to, or how you self-identify. Just like those treaties, it's nonpartisan. We all have to just understand there's a common ground for us to at least be respectful to each other. So I think voting this cycle is really important, because it'll help save our democracy and not just vote for great candidates like our guests tonight.
Hey, can you guys hold on? I've gone a little long because, the fair wore me out and I can't read time. Can you hold on, Alan?
Yeah.
Right on. Hey, we'll be right back. You're listening to Native Roots Radio's Rock the Vote Native Style.
Hey, Ogama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Minnesotans age 65 plus might qualify for Health Partners Minnesota Senior Health Options. The plan includes personal support, coverage for medical, prescription drugs, and dental, plus over 30 extra benefits. Eligibility information is available at healthpartners.com/oneplan. Health Partners is a health plan that contracts with both Medicare and the Minnesota Medical Assistance Medicaid program to provide benefits of both programs to enrollees. Enrollment in Health Partners depends on contract renewal.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States, and 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected. Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf. Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy. As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired. Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on site from the best coffee growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
You did. We just did it recently.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you for wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Wow. Hey, I want to give a quick apology to our affiliates. We have many affiliates all over the country now, and I went a little long, and I think I confused myself by having two guests in one segment. So apologize to everyone out there that's waiting to push the commercial button. So sorry about that. Hey, here with Alan Roy, who's running for District 2 State Senate here in Minnesota, along with Nancy Beaulieu and Ogama. Nancy, why don't you lead us off here with a couple more insights and questions for Alan?
Well, you just got to know that Alan is, again, he's a White Earth Band member. He's actively engaged with the Army Reserve. He's an open-minded person, and he's willing to listen to the people, and that's what I appreciate about Alan the most. Every now and then we'll have our differences, but that's okay too. But I feel Alan is willing to, listen and understand the work that we do here in northern Minnesota, because some of us literally have our boots on the ground and we're out here defending our treaties. And that's because we're all treaty people. And I think Alan has been very supportive of our work. And I'm excited that people like himself, Jamie Becker-Finn, Mary Kunish-Bodine, and to name the rest of them, I can't name them all. But, treaties are on the action agenda in the DFL party, because we passed that, the delegates by 90% in back in May of this year at the state convention. So again, it's, people like myself out there defending those treaties, and we're honored to have our relatives running for office to further that work. And I know, Alan, you're going to be that person, and you're going to help move that from the action agenda and put it on the main platform, because treaties are supreme law of the land. And I want you just to share a quick way that you're going to help support our work here in northern Minnesota.
Thank you for the intro, Nancy. Once again, I'm just very honored to be on here. The first way that we're going to make sure that we are listening, right? So that is the tough part, is to get these legislators and positions all across the state. Certainly in the administration, working with the administration, is just to be able to sit down and listen and be present and hear what the people are discussing and what our community members are saying and what our band members are saying in each of these bands and tribal governments, and having meaningful consultation is part of that. And for me, what the most effective leaders that I've come across are ones that'll reach out, and they will find that common ground, and they will make sure that we move forward in a good way. And certainly I've made tribal affairs, I should say, a top priority of my campaign, and making sure that those voices are heard in the legislature and in the Senate. And that means making sure that we pass good policy that is good for everyone in northern Minnesota. And so that's certainly one of the areas that is a top priority for me.
Right. And, thinking forward, when our relatives or allies that understand their treaty obligation, that when they take these seats, that they sprinkle that seed throughout the Capitol and at the Senate to say, hey, we're all treaty people. And actually, those treaties intended for us to live in peace and be good stewards of the earth. And I think we can create policy to make that happen. But first, we go back to, this is why it's important to vote. If we're not voting for candidates like yourself, none of this good stuff can happen. And it's also up to us as community members to continue to work with our elected officials, not only before November 3rd, but after November 3rd. And I think it's key to have those conversations and remind ourselves that sovereignty is inherent, and it's mine, it's yours, it's our people, and that we're here to defend our sovereignty, because not once did we ever cede any of our sovereignty. So that's why I'm excited to support people like yourself. So miigwech for stepping it up.
Alan, give us how we can help you out. We got 30 seconds here. Where's your website and how people can help you?
Yeah, check us out on www.alanroyforsenate.com. You can click on the events link. From there, you can volunteer. We have shifts lined up for virtual phone banks. We also have door knocking volunteer opportunities, as well as fundraising and meet and greets. Check us out on alanroyforsenate.com. There's also a donate link that you can click there, or go to Act Blue and you can support our campaign. We're also on social media. Just look for Alan Roy for State Senate. Thank you, Robert. Thank you for having us on. Thank you.
Eat local.
And one final note, Robert.
Find locally owned Minnesota